We are in a battle for the soul of our country. And so I will work with anyone and everyone to change this system and to deliver results for our brave patriots. Because I work for you, not them. I am relentless, and I will continue to pursue this objective. This is the United States of America. We are not a third world country. It is time we start acting like the vibrant republic that we are. We've got a country to save. You can fight with me any day of the week, Turning Point. Let's go get them. Thank you for your well wishes and your prayers. Most importantly, thank you for having my back. Recently at Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota, there was a warning put out that if active duty service members attended a Turning Point Action event, they might not ever be able to serve in the military again. They call Turning Point alt-right, extremist. We aren't alt-right, but we do demand that the political leaders on the right actually give a rip about we the people, and I will hold them accountable if they break their promises. The only thing extreme about Turning Point Action is that we love our country with the vision and the passion and the dedication that she deserves. So let me state clearly, every patriotic active duty service member who attends these conferences will be cherished and celebrated and honored, and I'm going to find out who the woke generals were who put out that message, and they deserve to be exposed, humiliated, and fired. And I don't even think we should use their preferred pronouns when we do it. We got the next United States Senator for the great state of Arizona coming up, Kari Lake. She'll fight. And the OG strategist himself, my man Steve Bannon. I really think that War Room Prison Break is going to be the best series yet. You'll be able to go enter promo code Bannon at Birch Gold and contribute directly to Steve's release. Have you ever had a job where you work with crazy people? A lot of the folks I work with are stone cold nuts. I got one coworker who hosts Hamas pep rallies inside the Capitol building. And I got another one who pulls the fire alarm when he doesn't do his homework. And I feel for the poor schmuck who gets lost in the Capitol building and Google's Senate Judiciary Room, because they're going to get some content they weren't expecting. In fairness, there is one rare area of agreement. Democrats and a lot of Republicans in Washington don't like me very much. I've been disruptive, naughty, even chaotic, they say. Well, I guess I have a different definition of chaos than the establishment in Washington, D.C. To me, chaos is a $34 trillion debt. Chaos is funding the entire government all at once. Chaos is not releasing every single minute of the January 6 tapes without blurring anybody's faces or identity. Now, maybe I'm a little rough around the edges. I'll admit that. But I win. And if you will fight with me, we can win together against these establishment goons in both political parties who have been destroying our country and selling out our people. Congress needs to change. Things can't keep going the way they've always been. We need disruption, not another lobbyist-funded happy hour or PAC-funded junket. 61% of Americans today are living paycheck to paycheck. Think about buying a car. You could be paying twice the amount in interest that you would have been paying just a few years ago. We've got more Americans in default on their home mortgages than at any other time in the last decade. Everything is not awesome. We can't keep doing things the way we've been doing them. And the very reason we are facing $2.2 trillion annual deficits is because we have devised a system in Washington, D.C. where no one is really responsible for the spending. The White House blames Congress, the House blames the Senate, and I've got this chaotic idea that maybe instead of taking one vote on everything from the troops and the veterans to the welfare queens and the programs that aren't working, maybe we ought to have a line-by-line process for programmatic review of the federal budget. Oh, the lobbyists won't like that, the interest groups won't like that, but we, the people, will be better off for it. With all of these challenges we are facing, America is starting to feel like how John Fetterman dresses. And together we've endured this failure whiplash. We went from an economy that was roaring under President Trump to a nation that is snoring under President Biden. He is a person in decline, and I don't think America should join him in that decline. Under President Trump, gas was cheap, wages were rising, America was energy dominant. And all of this, it's hard to believe that all that we had going for us was reversed by a man who soiled his pants on the way to meet the Pope. When Trump was president, even the dictators were on their best behavior. President Trump obliterated ISIS. He backed down Little Rocket Man. He kept Putin from invading his neighbors. Trump killed Soleimani, protected our service members, and actually put the tariffs on China that they have long deserved. I miss the days when America deterred war and America stopped war. Now we've got this stumbling and bumbling president who is literally sleepwalking us into a potential war with a nuclear power. Like, over what? Which guy in a sweatsuit gets to run Crimea? I don't think that's worth the risk of accident and escalation that could put Americans in harm's way. I don't fear broke-down Russian tanks in the Donbass. I fear the risk that we could see violence visited on the American people. And it is the duty of your leaders to do everything possible to protect you, your family, your lives, your bank accounts, and your interests. Joe Biden is so obviously too old and too corrupt to be president. But politicians in both parties have been selling you out because selling out is easy for them. They give their voting cards to the leadership, and they give their calendars to the lobby corps and the special interest bundlers. And so I proudly stand before you as the only Republican in the United States Congress who refuses all donations from federal lobbyists and political action committees. I don't take their bribes, and I don't take their commands. And they can hate me, they can smear me, they can try to expel me, but I know I have you in my corner, and I will never stop fighting for you. They couldn't buy me off, they couldn't compromise me, they couldn't destroy me, and trust me, they tried all three. But President Trump knows that we have to clean this mess up. He has called for term limits on members of Congress and a lifetime ban on any member of Congress becoming a lobbyist or a registered foreign agent. If you are writing the laws for our nation, you should not get to enter the transfer portal. And you know what? If those lackey congressmen don't like it, if they don't want the reforms that we are fighting for, then they can follow that former Speaker of the House right out the door. And there are several who are already among the congressional departed. Liz Cheney's gone. Bye, Felicia. Kevin McCarthy is gone. Mitt Romney is off to Utah or Massachusetts or Davos or wherever he can just join into a BLM riot and feel alive by virtue signaling. Oh, Mittens. We won't miss him. Work remains for all of us, and my mission, what I am fighting for every day, is to ensure that Congress is better prepared for the second term of Donald Trump than we were the first. I saw too much vision. I saw too much potential unrealized because we had to deal with the likes of Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan. Now we've got a new generation of conservative leaders, and we have shown the capability to flex. And it gives me hope. It gives me hope that there are populist movements that are gaining victory all over the world. Giorgia Meloni in Italy, Melee in Argentina, the Dutch farmers are rising up. Maybe Conor McGregor will fix what's going on in Ireland. We've got Bukele in El Salvador and many others. And it all forecasts and leads to one obvious next step. Donald Trump is going to win the Iowa caucuses. He is going to win the Republican nomination, and he will be triumphantly sworn in as the 47th president of these United States of America. Hey, Trump's my man, but Vivek Ramaswamy might be my spirit animal. Isn't he great? And who knows? Maybe we'll even get Tucker Carlson joining President Trump in the White House as his VP. Trump Tucker 2024. The world might not be ready, but I'm ready. Are you ready? Oh, that would be fun. We are the winning team, and that's why the left is acting out so crazily. They have no arguments left to make. Who wants to vote for high crime, high taxes, high prices, and low testosterone? It's not really a winning agenda. But they have to smear us as extremists, try to imprison us, commit election interference and election fraud against us to protect their power. They're literally working to knock Donald Trump off the ballot in the name of protecting democracy. Removing the leading candidate in a national election from the ballot is the most dictatorial thing the Biden administration and their allies could ever even think of. They're trying to beat Trump in the witness box and the jury box because they know they can never legitimately beat him at the ballot box. And it's kind of weird. They aren't even really trying to win you over. Like, look, in the words of America's greatest president, they aren't sending their best. They're putting up like some dementia ward escapee and the annoying lady from your HR department. And I'm pretty sure every time Gavin Newsom shakes Joe Biden's hand, he's checking his pulse. The left in America today is the political movement that believes Adam Schiff is a truth teller and Lizzo is a sex symbol. So I will pass on both. Our heroes are Davy Crockett, Theodore Roosevelt, Thomas Jefferson, Donald Trump. Their heroes are George Floyd and Anthony Fauci and Dylan Mulvaney. Now, one of the great wins for our movement has been Nayib Bukele in El Salvador. And just think about how awful American governance is that I'm here before you cheerleading for what's going on in El Salvador. But look at the data. Murders in El Salvador have been cut in half. There's actually a lower murder rate in El Salvador today than in Baltimore. Like, maybe the people dodging bullets in Democrat-run Baltimore should seek asylum in San Salvador. But Bukele's success story reminds me how San Francisco really cleaned up pretty nice when Xi Jinping came to town. I mean, they cleaned it up so good you could eat off of the streets that they were defecating on just days before. Gavin Newsom was willing to clean things up for the foreign communists, but he wasn't willing to clean things up for the homegrown communists who elected him. How rude. But San Francisco's improvement overnight revealed the obvious to all of us. Many of our problems are actually really easy to solve, but it just requires the will, the dedication, and the drive to solve them. It turns out you can simply remove homeless tents. Who knew? That's what Bukele did in El Salvador. He had this revolutionary idea to actually lock up the thugs and cartels and criminals who are destroying his country. And similarly, President Trump understands that some of our greatest problems just require the deployment of a little common sense. Gas prices are too high? Drill for more oil. Too many illegal immigrants? Deport them. Fentanyl is poisoning 100,000 of our fellow Americans. We should execute the drug dealers. And it just feels right to all of us when we hear President Trump say drain the swamp, because we know instinctively that it is the entire ecosystem that is mucky and nasty and toxic and in need of disruption for something better for all of us to arise. The Republican majority that we have in the House of Representatives right now is the only lever of power at our disposal. I don't think it's too ostentatious or unreasonable to suggest that we start using it for our people. So here's my message to Joe Biden. Shut down the border, or we will shut down the government. For too many years, the Republican Party was infected with surrender as a strategy, amnesty for illegal immigrants, intervention abroad, and selling out to corporate America won the day. Well, I don't think there should be liability protections for the jab pushers, and I don't think there should be one more dollar to Ukraine. What has emerged in Congress today is a dangerous uni-party, fused together by a mutual interest in changing as little as possible. They keep getting rich while our country keeps getting screwed. Members of Congress should be banned from trading individual stocks for the same reason you don't let the referee bet on the game. And interestingly, you haven't felt enough difference between Republican and Democrat control in Congress because both sides far too often are working for the same special interests. Big banks, big tech, big business, big pharma. Less than a year from now, America has a choice to make. And it's pretty simple. Strength or weakness. Greatness or decline. I will not give this country to the people who hate her. Politics in a representative republic eventually comes down to this. Choose your fighter. And so I want the biggest, baddest, toughest, strongest, most inspirational advocate for our nation and for our movement. And with all due respect to the other candidates running, I ride or die with Donald John Trump. You can ride with me any day, Turning Point. We've got more winning on the way. Winning so much, you get tired of it. After all, that's what you were promised. Our country is not just an idea or a constitution. It is our home, and we must protect our home. Thank you so much for being in the fight. Thank you for demanding more of your government and your representatives and your country. Let's win this thing and let's go get them. Thank you all so much.